the first Green Bay running back to get over 100 yards in 45 games. It's been a while for the Packers. And if you have a good running game in Green Bay, and you have the bad man himself, Aaron Rodgers, that puts you in a pretty good driver's seat if you're in the NFC. Considering the fact that the NFC is actually a really deep conference, and again, at the top, you really do have San Francisco and Seattle to fight for that. And for the Packers to have a running game, that's a really good start, but they do have to work on that defense a little bit. For the Dolphins, 2-0 on the season. Ryan Tannehill looks like a legitimate top 10 pick from last season. I mean, look at the stats: 23 of 34, 319 yards and a touchdown. Again, the defense is a little bit of an issue, but again, you're playing Andrew Luck, who's a very good quarterback. For the Chiefs, 2-0 on the season. Like I said, the Chiefs only won 2 games last season. To be already 2-0 now in an offense with Alex Smith, an efficient quarterback, a quarterback that does not turn the ball over, that's huge. And considering the fact that turnovers were a key battle in this game, Chiefs 0, Cowboys 2. Again, offensive yards was pretty even. Time of possession roughly about the same. Again, it was more, and the Cowboys had a little bit more possession than the Chiefs. But the key stat: third down, Cowboys 3 of 11, which probably cost them the game, in my opinion. The Chargers 1-1. They totally salvaged themselves from an embarrassing defeat last week against the Houston Texans. And on the flip side for the Eagles, I mean, again, their offense is good. When Michael Vick throws for 400 yards, which is, I think, a career high, that's great. But again, if you look at the time of possession, it's a quick offense, don't get me wrong. And you can run it how you want, but you look at the stats. Turnovers, 2-1 in favor of the Eagles, really. I mean, Chargers turned it over twice. But the time of possession is ridiculously scary if you're an Eagles fan. Chargers held it for 40 minutes to the Eagles' 19. That says a lot about how quick Chip Kelly wants to run. But one problem that you do have, again, how fast do you really run it when you have a defense that's gassed from having to deal with its own problems with Phillip Rivers? I mean, he's not a bad quarterback in his own right. I mean, he threw over for over 400 yards as well in the day. For the Ravens, 1-1 on the season. Huge win over a Browns team that really had a lot of questions coming into this game, but still had a chance late. And that's scary if you're a Ravens team. But look, a win's a win, like I said. But the gap is definitely closing between the Ravens and the Browns, as well as Steelers and the Bengals in that division. I feel like there's no one clear-cut winner. And again, these divisional games are going to be grinded out, smash-mouth football. And whoever has more grind, has the ability to grind late, I think that's who's going to win that division. For the Texans, 2-1 on the season, when they really probably should be 0-2. I mean, it's a nice way to come back, really. Again, this is a team that really a lot of people think the window's closed on their chances to get to the Super Bowl. They turned over the ball twice, but they dominated in offensive yards and had a little more time possession. Again, if you have a quarterback like Matt Schaub and you have weapons like Andre Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins, Ben Tate's a pretty good running back. Aaron Foster, I don't know when he's going to be back, or at least be healthy enough. But if this Texans team is good offensively, I think they can go a couple rounds. The problem is, again, their defense, which has questions, especially in the secondary, giving up big plays. And on the flip side for the Patriots, they're lucky to be 2-0, let's be honest. The Jets turned it over 4 times in the game. The Jets maybe turned it over 2 times. I don't think the Patriots win this game. And the Patriots got one late in Buffalo last week. Again, a lot of questions on the day. I mean, you saw Tom Brady absolutely frustrated if you were watching that game. He was trying to hit receivers, Kimbrell, Tompkins. When Julian Edelman's your number one guy, that's huge. That's a huge problem for the New England Patriots moving forward, especially once they get into once they face teams that actually have a good defense. I mean, next week they play Tampa. I mean, they have the week off. Actually, no, they play Tampa Bay next on Sunday, and they play at Atlanta, at Cincinnati, against New Orleans Saints. Those next 3 games will be telling for the New England Patriots to see how they play against some of the best teams. Those next 4 games, if they might be 3-3 by the end of this when they come back. When they play the New York Jets at New York again. So that's going to be a huge problem, but they're lucky to be 2-0, and hey, a win's a win in the NFL, and I think that's all that matters at the end of the day. All right, we're going to take a short break, but right after the break, we'll go to some college football. It really has been a fascinating set of weeks already, and we already had the game of the year, in my opinion, last night between Alabama and Texas A&M. We'll recap that, and I'll tell you about what to look forward from these two teams now that this game's over. I mean, if you look at the schedules, I mean, it could be very interesting still for these two teams moving forward. You're listening to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Stern on Spreaker Radio. And welcome back to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Cerrone on Spreaker Radio, coming to you live from Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. Sorry about that. The mic had a little bit of an issue. But like I said, updating you with some scores for today. Cardinals get by the Lions 25-21. Cardinals get a touchdown late to defeat the Lions. Saints, Garrett Hartley with a 41-yard field goal to put the Saints up 6 on the Buccaneers, now up 13-7. And this just went final. Raiders defeat the Jaguars 19-9. Raiders 1-1 in the season. Jaguars dropped to 0-2. All right, like I said, a lot to talk about in college football, starting with the number one team in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Last year, obviously, Texas A&M and Johnny Manziel came to town. And boy, what a sight that was. As Johnny football lit up Tuscaloosa, defeating Alabama 29-24 last season. Obviously, with Alabama winning the national championship, that's pretty much the only problem that they had was, can we beat Texas A&M? So this season, it's the first game for both teams in the SEC, as Alabama goes to College Station to take on the Aggies. And in my opinion, this game lived up to the billing. Texas A&M's coming out hot early. Manziel just throwing to Mike Evans, just throwing the ball all over the place in the first half. And I think the key possession that changed this whole game was in the second quarter when Johnny Manziel tried to throw a fade route and got picked off, which led to a couple scores by Alabama. Alabama going up 28-14 at the half. And then in the third quarter, Alabama just pouring it on. But in the fourth quarter, Texas A&M came back with 21 points. But it was just shy as Alabama stays undefeated. They defeat Texas A&M 49-42. Now, obviously, the win for the Crimson Tide, it kind of affects them in the polls moving forward, if you think about it. Alabama's still number one, if not, in my opinion, after this win for the Crimson Tide, this is as big of a win as you could probably get. I mean, obviously, they have some challenges left in the season. But to defeat a team like Texas A&M with all the hype, from Johnny Manziel to, is Nick Saban able to beat Texas A&M? Can they shut down Johnny football? To winning their third national championship in a row, and all these other things. They came out on top, and again, they're the number one team in the country. They have 59 of the possible 60 votes, the other one going to Oregon. This team going forward is I would say, is a lot to get the national championship game, because if you look at the schedule, it's not that hard. Look at it. You have Colorado State coming to town next week, coming to Tuscaloosa. You have Ole Miss coming to town. They're number 21 in the country, but they're still really young. I like Nick Marshall. I like their quarterback. No, it's not Nick Marshall. He's in Auburn. But I do like their quarterback situation, and I like how they move the ball. Their defense is probably what's going to make this game very interesting. Obviously, with Robert Mdiche, the number one recruit out of high school, coming to play for Ole Miss, alongside his brother, who's actually a very talented player in his own right. But I think they'll get by that. Georgia State's going to be a blowout. They play at Kentucky, who gave Louisville a run for their money. Arkansas at home, Tennessee at home, two teams that I don't really see contending. The big matchup I see that they're going to have to get by is at home against 6th-ranked LSU. Looking at their offense now, after a couple games, Zach Mettenberger looks like a legitimate quarterback in the SEC. Under new offensive coordinator Cam Cameron, this offense is going, and it's going through the air, which is a lot different than LSU football on offense in the last couple of years. What it normally is just a game manager at quarterback, a really solid running game, and an outstanding defense. And that's what's won LSU so many games.